Yes, yes, yes. What is up? What is up? Mixed Combat Radio family. Another weekly edition of the show live on patreon.com/Trending Now Network. This is going to be a rough one for me. I went 0 for 2 on the big fights. I picked Fulton. I picked Spence. Neither one won. Terence Crawford's probably the best fighter on the planet, or it's Nao Inoue. And we're going to have that discussion, obviously, because Terence Crawford obliterated Errol Spence and absolutely dominated the fight. I mean, it was rough to watch at one point, to be quite honest. But obviously, we're going to get into all that fun stuff. Links down below in the description if you need to help support the channel and the show in any way. But I'm joined, obviously, by the lovely, the one and only Melody Joy from the Beauty of Boxing. Melody, how are you? Obviously,
I'm back. I know no one wants to hear that ever in their life, but
you pick better than me.
Here I am, back in action. I didn't pick better than you because wait, that's it. That was an easy schmeeze. You guys were just being nice. But whatever happened with Spence was unexpected. Even if you didn't like him or you didn't want him, this was not what we expected. I don't think. Maybe, I don't know, were there Crawford fans really expecting this? Like this kind of beatdown? I don't know. Gary, Crawford fan?
I mean, he did pick a stoppage, I think, even too. So Gary,
did you?
Obviously from Texas boxing scene. Gary's muted.
Mike.
It's okay.
I picked, my official pick was Crawford by points. My secondary pick was Crawford by stoppage. I thought there was really no chance of Spence winning this fight. But I did not expect it to go like that. I would have bet a large sum of money if I was a gambler on Crawford to win. But I thought, it's going to be close. Like, it's going to be competitive. I just thought Crawford was too versatile. Right? He can fight righty, he can fight lefty. He can fight on the inside, he can fight on the outside. He can box, he can punch, right? He's fast, he's powerful. I just thought Crawford had a little bit too much. But I wasn't expecting that. And you want me to get into the inside information I had on Spence? It's not really inside information.
The good stuff.
The good stuff, Gary.
Tell us.
It's not really inside information.
Okay.
So Ryan Garcia is down in the Metroplex looking to buy houses. So he's in camp full time. They had Frank Martin out in Vegas for 2 weeks. So they took Spence out to Vegas for 2 weeks. So they had the Martin fight. We have Ryan Garcia. They got Anthony Joshua next week, and then they got the biggest fight of the year, I think, in Jamel Charlo and Canelo. It's too much for Derek James, and I heard from a month ago that camp was going terribly. Like, it was going terribly. And the reason why they took him to Vegas wasn't just for Frank Martin. It was to get him out of there and try to get a change of scenario and try to get it changed up because camp was going that bad for Errol Spence.
Oh, it looked like it did.
Yeah,
he looked like
he had some bags under his eyes,
bro.
Man.
Walking into the fight, I was like, "What? Matthew? Why does he look like that? Like, did he not sleep for 3 days? Like, why does he look so terrible and then so small and then so weak?"
It's not to discount Crawford's performance.
No, not at all.
I mean, there was a little bit something off with Spence, it seems.
Right.
But
he was getting knocked down by jabs and glancing blows, Matt. There was something seriously wrong with Spence.
I mean, maybe it's weight cut, maybe it's bad training camp. There's a lot of things it could be. But I do think Crawford had like a career-defining performance here.
Amazing.
Like a legacy-defining performance here. I think no matter what X factors were there that led to Spence not being 100%, it's the sport. Like, you're not going to be 100% every time. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Crawford and you still walked in there. If it really was 100%, he could have backed out of the fight. It could reschedule. Like, I know that doesn't really happen that often, but it is possible. We've seen it before. But he chose not to do that. He chose to fight. He lost, and Crawford looked, I mean,
phenomenal,
otherworldly. Honestly, like everything was working for him. Almost every punch it seemed was landing. Every jab, every hook, every counter.
He knew exactly where to move.
And he didn't even do that much. No. This wasn't a Crawford that had to be on his toes and really had to, pull tricks out of his hat. This was a Crawford that really kept it to basics and outdid the boxer puncher of Errol Spence.
Right.
I mean, he looked massive in the ring too. Like he really has put on the weight for the weight class. I think. This is impressive. I mean, yes, I was very impressed with now New. I know, like obviously, you don't want to compare the two because again, it takes away from Crawford, but we are, I feel like, going to have to. But Crawford's performance to me was far more impressive because he did that to Errol Spence,
Yep.
who should not have been beaten down like that, but he was.
Yep.
I mean, you were like me. You picked Spence. I know Gary's going to gloat and say how he's right and everything, but you like me were wrong. You're right about it anyway. So, I mean, what's your gauge now on pound for pound number one? What's your gauge on how dominant and career defining the performance was?
Obviously, there's two pound for pound,
Kings
right now. We have obviously Inoue, and we have to add Crawford. We have to. This performance blew me out of the water. What did I tell you? This was a whole new strand of bud we ain't smoked before. Whole new strand. And I hope it continues. If this is crazy because Crawford does have Crawford fans, like hardcore Crawford fans.
It does.
And like this is probably what they've been talking about for like ever, and how his career was so mismanaged because he was such a powerful person, and we were like, was it? Everybody kept testing that shit, and I think this is their time to shine, I guess, right?
I can say I'm half right then because I've always said Crawford's been mismanaged. I'll say that. But Gary, I mean, you're the one that was only fully right. You picked Crawford to win, and you, like me, have always said Crawford's been mismanaged. And if he was put into this spotlight, if he was given the opportunities, he would shine. So you're absolutely right.
He'd have a better career?
I mean, that's been a bigger question for Gary. If let's say this happened in 2018, do we talk about Crawford in a much different light?
Yeah.
So
it's a Hall of Fame career. Is it he is the next Mayweather. He's the next Pacquiao without a doubt, and there is no doubt about it.
So
Gary?
Your circumstance always plays a role, right? All right, first I want to say I have no room to gloat about anything. I picked Stephen Fulton. Like, if you would have asked me who am I more confident is going to win, Stephen Fulton or Terence Crawford, I would have said Stephen Fulton without hesitation. Like, Stephen Fulton's going to win that fight. Because I don't really have any room to gloat. Okay, I picked Stephen Fulton to beat Inoue. I was pretty confident about that. I couldn't have been more wrong. I'm not going to gloat that I got Terence Crawford right in a fight that I thought was kind of 51-49 Crawford. But was his career mismanaged? Absolutely. But he also plays a part in that, right? Like, if A-Rod came up on the Yankees and Jeter came up on the Mariners, we wouldn't have a discussion on who had a better career. I mean, but you see, if Tom Brady didn't play with Bill Belichick, he probably doesn't get 7 rings, right? Gets a lot. Probably not 6 with
sport,
Belichick.
throw it at me, Gary.
Belichick.
One more sport. I need another comparison.
I'm going to give you another one. Wilt Chamberlain won 1 ring. Bill Russell played on the greatest team of all time and got 11, so he's considered better. It's like Russell averaged 15 points and 15 rebounds. Chamberlain averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds one season, but Russell's better because of his situation, of his circumstance. Yes, Crawford's a great fighter, and he'd be a great fighter in any era, in any management. But yes, his career was mismanaged. If he had gone to PBC, or if he promoted himself, right? And you got to put that on Terence Crawford, not Terence Crawford the fighter, but Terence Crawford the businessman, right? Like, you didn't promote yourself, right? Like that's on you. Yeah. So, like, there's a reason why Kevin Durant signed with Golden State, because he wanted to get those chips. If you wanted to get your name in that conversation, you knew what you had to do. You had to sign with PBC, and you re-signed with Top Rank. You pissed away 4 years of your primary career fighting Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez, fights that no one cared about, right? After he beat Jeff Horn, he should have either been a free agent and said, look, most people had him pound for pound number 1 or 2 at that time, right? Because that's when Andre Ward retired. And he could have said, I'm a free agent, or I'm going to do the obvious thing and sign, 1 fight, 2 fight deals with PBC to get the fights that I want. But instead, he went back with Top Rank and was like, oh, well, when he was fighting Ndongo for the undisputed 140-pound title, they asked him, why didn't you do the press conference? They said that you weren't feeling well because you had cut too much weight. And Crawford said, that's the first I heard about that. Like, I was fine. Like, well, why didn't you do the press conference before the fight? And he's like, because they told me it was optional. guy, this ain't the NFL. You ain't Marshawn Lynch, bro. You got to promote yourself. You don't have a fan base of 100 million people who are going to watch whatever you do like the NFL. Okay, you ain't the Super Bowl, bro. If you want to be that guy, you got to promote yourself. Errol Spence is by nature a quiet guy, a shy guy. If you go back to his Olympic days, his early days, he didn't say 2 words. What he understood was in the Mikey Garcia fight, I got to sell this. If I want to make millions more, I got to sell this fight, right? Like, I understand that might not be Crawford's nature, but it ain't Spence's nature either. And Spence has done it. So he could have sold himself. He could have made himself a bigger deal. Yes, his career would be looked at differently if he promoted himself or was better promoted or better managed. And most of that falls on his promoter because that's their job. But you also got to look at the fighter. Like, this is still your career.
You know, I don't, like you said, I think most of it does fall on the promoter. Like, most of it falls on Top Rank. Like, they had Terence Crawford on HBO, which is much bigger than Showtime. They have him on ESPN, which is much bigger than Fox Sports. You know what I mean? Like, they've had him on major platforms. And I think they never sort of bit the bullet on, we're going to take the short money for the long-term money in it, you know, in a sense. We're going to take the 40% instead of the majority cut for a Spence fight in 2018, which they didn't want to do, win that fight, and now he's the one that's getting the land share. They just didn't want to bite that bullet. They were scared for some reason.
I was just going to say, do you think that they were scared, or do you think that they just didn't believe in Crawford?
I don't think they believe in Crawford. I think it's partly they don't believe in Crawford. I think it's partly we can just isolate the profit here, and we don't have to share it with Al Heyman or share it with Eddie Hearn or share it with Oscar De La Hoya. It's that mentality of we're going to keep the pot to ourselves because Crawford's a lot of money. So all the profit we make off of him, we want to go to us, not to Heyman. Because the reality is, let's be honest, let's say Spence Crawford happened in 2018. Spence gets the 60%, 65% cut, right? That fight does 1 million pay-per-view buys. Heyman and Spence are making the most money. I don't think Aaron likes that. I think Aaron is an old school promoter. Top Rank is an old school promotion.
Don't start.
No.
I'm just kidding.
You know, I just think they have this mentality of like, we don't need to cross the aisle. We're good over here. So that's what it is, unfortunately. And like you said, it is partly they didn't trust in Crawford at all for some reason.
Yeah, I just feel like that was the problem. Like, yeah, they had him on the roster. They were like, he's good or whatever, but we're not. I don't think he had, you know, he'll be able to back up what he says. So let's just kind of keep him under the, because I mean, on the promoter side, I know how the promoters are always talking about fighters, and like I know they'll do that. So like I just feel like they kind of kept him lingering for so long, and then he's getting so old. I thought he was gonna perform way worse for his age, but of course, like aging like wine beautifully.
And look, I think there were several points in Fight Week you probably should have known that we picked wrong.
We were going wrong. I just didn't think. I honestly didn't want. Like, I know, like, things happened to him. With obviously, I was very disappointed as a Spence fan that he got caught drunk driving. How he got drunk driving is how he crashed his car, which is why I can't understand like why he would do that. That's the dumbest thing you could do as a fighter, is to put other people's lives in danger. So I was extremely upset at Spence. I was like, how disgusting, right? But he's getting it together, and I thought the neurological damage has to play some kind of part in here. And then I saw him getting better and improving. Okay, it's not looking so. I've never seen him look this bad on Fight Week. Never.
It's not just that Crawford was dialed in on Fight Week in a way that Spence wasn't. Like, remember the press conference, and we talked about it a little bit off air, when Crawford started talking shit to Spence's team. You know, that exchange, I think, kind of was inside, like, who's ready for the fight.
Yeah.
And I don't think Spence was really
and
ready
Spence
for it.
was so chill and had that like, man, you guys stop it, you know? Whereas dude, Crawford was fucking.
He's ready to fight.
To fight anybody at that point,
like on some street shit. He was ready to fight.
You know, but to do that much damage to somebody, I don't want to give the man any more excuses. Like he even said himself, you know, if there was a good enough excuse, I'd give it. I'd be posting about it right now, but like, you know,
Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Eminem, but when he walked out
my
with Eminem,
God.
I instantly knew I fucked up. Just the energy was different. I mean, come on.
Round 2, we were like, ooh.
round one, you could tell it was bad.
Yeah, round 2 was over. Round 2 was over.
When that knockdown happened off like the jab or whatever it was, it was rough.
Oh, I chased butterflies for 2 days.
The fight did make a big gate, $21 million in ticket sales at the T-Mobile Arena. I am curious to see what the pay-per-view is, Gary.
I saw a number, and you can Google it. It doesn't look like a great source, so I didn't want to say it, but just to say a bad source, which I'm not citing this source, I'm not putting this out there, said 700,000. You can Google it right now, Crawford Spence reviews, it'll come up. But
what's
some
the source?
I've never heard of it before. Let me see if I can find it again.
It's not like Rick Glaser, like a notorious one.
No, it was some sports website I've never heard of before. So I'm like, I'm not gonna like tweet this. I'm not gonna announce this.
Send it to me, Gary. Send it to me. I
want
to see it.
Let me see.
I mean, I think if it did that, that'd be good. It's kind of what I predicted.
The Sports Daily. I'm gonna put it in this chat right here.
That feels like a made-up name. The Sports Daily.
Like the Daily Mail.
I'm not.
But again,
I'm not citing this. This is not me citing this. I'm just saying what someone else reported.
Hold on over here. Let's see what we got. The Sports Daily. What is this?
What does it say? How many?
700,000.
700,000.
I'll go back. 700K. Derek Kerman, sports editor. I don't know. The fight analysis. Where they're saying they got the numbers from. Doesn't say.
Yeah, there was nothing that really screamed credibility from this number to me, which is why I wasn't going to go public with it.
It's very early too.
You have numbers. 4 days.
We usually don't get them till what? Today's Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday is when you usually get them. I feel.
Yeah, but not for big fights. Big fights, it's a week out. It's always a week. I feel like you have to wait a week to get any report. And then there's also like times where, like, let's be honest, where you get the initial report, and then 2 days later you get another report, and it's usually like 200,000.
Why does it take so long, though? Right? Like, I mean, like, there's a handful of TV providers. Like, you can get a DirecTV. How many did you sell? Dish Network. How many did you sell? AT&T. How many? Like, why is this that difficult? Like, they're not counting them by hand. It's not 1920, right? Like, it's like,
no, they're counting them backwards, forwards, Gary. They're trying to make numbers make sense. That's what they're doing.
I'm asking for an estimate.
For 4 or 5 days is trying to make this make sense. Like,
no. Here's what it is, Gary. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Gary.
Here's my thought on what it is. Now that I've seen a little bit about what it is,
I know what it is.
It's all about trying to figure out, okay, how much money should I report that we made with the commission?
Yeah.
To A, launder, and then B, to like hide. Right? Like, how much money can I hide from the system?
And
then how much money do I find to launder through the system?
And how much money am I trying to put out there so that I can project for the next round of fighters that are going to come join my promotion and expect to get paid? You have to, there's so many things that come into play, Gary, like ticket sales and then what the image you want to put out. So there's always an in-between, like what the real number is, what the number you give to the people in charge, the numbers that you give to the public, and that there's multiple teams that go into this. So having 4 or 5, 6, different days of going through all of this, it takes time, and they're very manipulated. Don't think for 1 second we're getting any real numbers here, folks.
And then the more, obviously speaking, the more revenue you report with the commission, the more your taxes with the commission are. So you're also gauging how much money you want to pay in taxes
through your business.
So it's part of that as well.
It's a lot.
And then you have to think about this too, like, who ultimately is going to know the real number? It's a very select few. Because if you're like DirecTV or if you're Dish, right, you're a cable provider or distributor, right? You only know your numbers.
Yeah.
You don't know the competitors' numbers.
Mhm.
So there's only going to be one source of people or one group or one person that really knows the total number of US pay-per-views sold, because they probably have a half a dozen at least distributors.
Yeah.
So it makes it very easy to sort of manipulate and hide to a degree.
Multiple people manipulating numbers, though.
And then,
that's
and then obviously, like back in the day when it was like Top Rank with HBO, Top Rank with ESPN, and Dan Rafael was there. Dan Rafael was the one that would get their numbers, of course. You have that type of relationship with the media, where like who is the one that's actually reporting the number first? What's their connection with the promotional company / network? And that's also a good indicator of is an inflated number or not. Say regardless though, it probably did well. It probably made money. Because this fight felt big. It felt like it was trending. It felt like, especially the Eminem hit, people were paying attention to it on a much bigger way. Like this definitely hit different sections of the entertainment audiences, so to speak. And Crawford looked fantastic. Jesus Christ. I'm still kind of in shock about it.
It was, I literally, like, if you can go to my stories, I have been butterfly chasing because I don't want to think about the world. Like, Spence got his ass beat, bro. Like, dirty. Like, I wouldn't want anybody to get their ass beat like that. Like, it wasn't cool, you know?
It was bad.
It was bad.
Like,
it was bad.
Let's post the thumbnail here.
No, it's bad.
Look at that face.
Ooh, Poppy Chulito.
Rough, man. It looks like the Martin Lawrence meme from the Martin show. You know, bad. Like it's bad. Bro. It's bad, bro.
It does look like Martin.
Love you, Spence.
We love you, Spence. Get better.
And like Stephen A. Smith saying you should retire. I don't think that's true. I think you just like it was probably a bad, training camp, bad weight cut. Go 154. And hey, Crawford saying that he'll go to 154.
I don't like the rematch. No, I don't like it.
It's gonna happen. It's so much money. It's too much money.
I would tell Spence not to take the rematch.
No, don't take the rematch.
Take the rematch, Spence. You have to, for your honor.
No, we're going Crawford.
This is samurai culture. If
we're going.
No, stop it.
We're going Crawford Virgil Ortiz, bro.
No, stop. Don't do Ortiz like that. Dude, he has a medical condition. Crawford will kill him. The only person that gives Crawford fits at 147 is Boot. And even then, I don't know if he is enough. I mean, Crawford's too good. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it right now. At least for right now. Crawford has probably 2 years left on his prime that he has. And he can get some big wins. Whether it's Boots, whether it's Joel Charlo. I think he can beat these guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, Crawford can.
When Crawford came to the division circa 2018, right? Like, I thought there was going to be this 3-way circular kind of, you didn't have a best welterweight. You had a welterweight of the moment, right? I thought Crawford could beat Spence. I'm sorry, Spence could beat Crawford. This is circa 2018. But Thurman would beat Spence. But Crawford would beat Thurman, right? So you got this triangle where you don't have a best welterweight. You just have a welterweight of the moment. Well, Keith Thurman disappeared from the face of the earth, and I think that the debate now is settled. Terence Crawford, the best welterweight of the era, and there's no way to even debate that. Although
Thurman is back.
Don't
Thurman's back.
Don't is he? Because
Shields, baby.
It's been a year and a half again with him out of the ring. Oh, that's right. He's gonna fight Shields.
He's gonna fight Shields, bro.
154, yeah.
She's down.
Stupid.
They're both down.
It's not happening.
Yeah, it could. Just saying. Oh, I was gonna say a bad joke. I'm gonna shut up.
But I do want to say this, and I want to get what Matt says, and I think I got what I want everyone officially. I do have Inoue number 1, pound for pound, just by a hair, and I understand the argument for Crawford, but I think 4 weight classes, going up a weight class when you're already fighting guys bigger than you, right? Going up to 122 and fighting Fulton, the best dude at 122, and beating him down in your 4th weight class when you've already skipped one. So in essence, he's transcended 5 weight classes just by a little bit. And I made like a checklist, right? And it's ever so close. I have Inoue 1, Crawford 2.
Perfect. Perfect.
Wrong.
Perfect.
Wrong.
Perfect.
Wrong.
Oh yeah, and in a way, it's now officially higher on my list than Chocolatito.
Jesus
Whoa,
Christ, it should be.
no.
Chocolate, I
No.
love you. His gloves up there. Love
Oh,
your chocolate. But
that might be true. I mean, I'll say this.
Oh.
Chocolatito is more impactful. Like he has a better legacy.
That is
Because
true.
without him,
He's saying that
There's
politically.
no Inouye.
There's
There's no Inouye. There's no Estrada. There's
No.
none of these little guys.
Shout out to the Sandinista. That's not what it's about. No, it's without him. We don't
get
Inouye.
We don't get Inouye.
we-
I know.
that's the reality.
Yes, without without
Gonzalez.
yes, without Chocolatito, without Benito Estrada, Benito Guardes, without them, we wouldn't have Inouye. So we have to give props to Little Chocolate.
They're like the founding fathers, but like
Yes.
without being slave owners.
We had Ricardo Lopez in the 90s who used to fight on Mike Tyson undercards, right? And we liked Ricardo Lopez. Then in the 2000s, we had Ivan Calderon for a niche crowd at the Garden. Like he would do a little bit.
Just kidding.
But none of them had the stigma. None of them had the gusto that Chocolatito had. None of them made casuals or semi-casuals, right? Like tune into boxing, right? Like if you are not a hardcore, you don't know who Ivan Calderon is, right?
No.
Like I was talking to a person who votes for the Boxing Hall of Fame and they don't know who Ivan Calderon is.
I got a joke
which
there.
is really
I'm not gonna say it.
staggering. Chocolatito put it on a big stage. So I agree with Matt. Like without Chocolatito, you don't have Inouye.
But in terms of like actually who is a better fighter, it is Inouye. Like, I think if we had a prime versus prime fight, like it would take everything in me to have to pick Inouye because it's the right pick.
Yes.
Even though I love Roman Gonzalez more than any fighter in history.
Roman.
But I think you're right. I think Crawford though, isn't this rarefied air? I'll be honest. I know we're like running a little bit long here for the topic, but
The topic of the century, Matt. The fuck, we're gonna be talking about this for like ever. I'll keep talking about it, even though I don't want to be here for another hour, guys. No offense, Gare.
we're only minute for a half hour. It's
I
okay.
said I don't want to be here for an hour, Matt. Wants to get beat.
I think Crawford now belongs in that conversation for like great welterweights. Like I really do. Like when we talk about Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, when we talk about these greats, like Crawford, I think now needs to be at least talked about in that way. And it's one of those things where like it's unfortunate that Inouye is where he's at because he doesn't have that history. He doesn't have those connections to 100+ years of boxing that's in our zeitgeist, right? Crawford now does. I think that unfortunately does weigh in terms of pound for pound rankings for me. Him being able to ascend to the top of not just 140, which has its own history, 135, which has its own great history, but now 147, 2-division undisputed champion, and he beat Errol Spence, which is just to me a much better win than Stephen Fulton. Much better.
Better win. I had to think the same. Like those are literally the only thing that would separate it for me is because he made history.
Yeah.
And technically there's some other runner-ups that have 4-division championship belts around their waist. So we have to think, but I can't say that because I love it in a way. And if I said that, he would know that I put him number 2 and not number 1. That can't be true. So.
All right. Prime versus prime, same size. Inouye versus Crawford. Who wins? I'm picking Crawford.
Oh, Inouye destroys them. Really?
Fucking eat him for lunch.
If you could make a 147 pounder out of Inouye, 5'9", 147 pounds, Crawford size.
No way.
Oh, kidding? Are you kidding me?
He'd have legs like tree trunks. He wouldn't be able to
He's already
move.
got legs like tree trunks, right? Like, I'm telling you, Inouye, man.
Rooted.
Watch.
No way.
Crawford's knocked out every single one at 147. I'm using Gary's talking point in the last show.
I said he was great. I said he would win.
But Inouye,
Great, but It just is better for me that Inoue is number one and
I
Crawford
see the argument.
number
No,
two.
I see the argument.
It's a
Look,
hair. It's a hair.
It is. It is a hair. It's a 1A, 1B conversation here.
But now we got to look back at all of Crawford's opponents and be like, damn, he has a shitty ass resume, but were they shitty now?
Stop. Don't do that. No, some of them were
Before this fight, Terence Crawford said Ricky Burns was his best win. That's what Crawford said.
That's sad. That's sad to Porter.
No.
You should take that back, Crawford.
That's what I wanted to be.
Didn't Porter pick you? It's rude.
Ricky Burns is the greatest Scottish boxer of all time. No, I'm not kidding you.
We
Look,
can't say it anymore.
Scottish.
Yes, the greatest Scottish boxer of all time.
I'll get in trouble.
In the Scottish history museum, right? They have an entire section on sports, and most of that section is actually on boxing. So it's actually really cool because you see a lot of all-time fighters. But fucking Ricky Burns, they have a shrine to that motherfucker, man. Bro, it's honestly cool to see. But Ricky Burns,
he messed with Texas once and fought Omar Figueroa. How'd that go?
He was 45 years old. The fuck?
Omar Figueroa was drunk and 10 pounds overweight. How'd it go?
I was gonna say, was he drunk?
What?
What was the issue here,
Gary? Come on, man. He's Omar Figueroa. He only fights drunk. So I don't understand how that's a knock on him.
I don't understand how that's a problem to anyone.
As drinking.
As I drink alcohol.
Look, Ricardo Mayorga can smoke cigarettes and beat you up, right? So Omar Figueroa can pound some Modelo's and fucking beat up anyone.
It's wine.
It's wine.
He
likes wine. Really? That's his choice.
Really?
I'm judging you now, Omar. I'm judging you hardcore.
No, that's what he told the cops. Wait, sorry.
Oh, that's what he told the cops.
And he got arrested.
It's just wine. I'm just a wine guy.
He said he had a glass of wine before he left.
Oh no! Don't do that. Wine has a high alcohol content.
Got in trouble.
You can't do that. Digressing, guys. Isaac Cruz beat Giovanni Cabrera. Actually, a really good fight. Really good
job,
fight.
Giovanni. I was so proud of you.
I'll put it this way: if you can somehow put Ryan Garcia's speed and somewhat better technical ability in Giovanni Cabrera, Giovanni, he would be a much better fighter. He's just so slow. And his hands are down all the time.
Right in front of your face.
But he did some really good counterboxing there against Isaac Cruz. It makes me think certain fighters like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, which is blow out Isaac Cruz and a decision, to be quite honest.
So slow.
Kind of reminds me of Julio Cesar Martinez, where there's clear issues with the mover here, and guys are going to give him fits because he cannot move. The guy that's faster than him.
For the life of him.
He can't just go in this way, man. He can just go forward and backwards.
I love
and
Martinez.
It sucks.
I'm Martinez, but
just so I can run down the rest of the card so we can wrap up this card and move on. No need to lost.
Just real quick on Giovanni Cabrera, he's half Italian, half Mexican, so he's got the best of both worlds.
Anyways, moving on from that. Fun fact.
I'll take it.
Nonito Donaire lost against Alejandro Santiago. Really good fight.
To let you know, Gary, he's full Filipino.
Yes.
That's nothing to do with anything.
That's it. Johannes, tell us.
I don't
know. Picked up a big TKO win against Sergio Garcia. Jesus Christ, that was a good knockout.
That was supposed to be Jesus Ramos. Good thing it wasn't, because Ramos may have killed him.
Yeah.
That was when Garcia got knocked out sitting up, and then he came back and then floored him.
Terrible.
Bad. I didn't see any of the other fights. I know Steven Nelson.
Yes, we did. We saw Nelson. He did pretty good.
I don't remember it.
A long fight. Pretty good.
Any other thoughts on the cards, ladies and gentlemen?
No.
Nonito Donaire needs to retire now.
Yes. Yeah. I think
he tweeted that his dad picked Santiago to knock him out.
Bro,
I
told him. I know. I saw that too. I saw it first on I don't know if it was Facebook or Instagram, but I was like, bro, look at this. He's going through it. His dad's fucking signing people up to knock his ass out. That's horrifying. But also, why are you airing that out on the internet?
That's all they do, the Donaires.
I know, but I want to love them because
I don't.
They are my Filipino counterparts, and it's very difficult for me to let go of that part of my life. You know,
Do they support the Marco dictatorship?
They live in
Moving on.
California, Matt. I have no idea.
I bet you they fucking eat bread with Imelda.
That's right. That's what I do. They dude. There's
He
some
was
great
born there,
documentaries.
right?
Donaire, yeah.
He was, right? And he came over as a kid. Maybe he
I'm
has
pretty
some.
sure.
Maybe he has more of a connection. And yes, my mom does love Meloni, the prime minister of Italy.
Rough.
Dude, did you
Think
see
she's
that
the best thing
macaron
ever.
in the divorce? Macaron, the French macaron.
A divorce from West
today.
Africa too.
Yeah, that. Well, it's about goddamn time.
Check out my article,
It's
peoplesworld.org.
about time.
Check it out.
Take your
I thought you
back.
didn't want us to read it. You wanted to read it now? I started reading it, but then you said not to read it.
Oh well, okay.
Gary, you were so volatile about reading it.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Well,
I have an
Rob, like,
article.
I'm not gonna read. Like, Rob, that's your homeboy. You can't show him love. You can't read it. It's not like War and Peace on a Bridge. It'll take you 5 minutes to read it. You can't read it.
I also didn't read it when Matt asked.
I get no love here, man.
He was like, "You're not gonna read it," and I was like, why this one?"
To be fair, I explained the whole thing to her already.
But
so,
I understand. I'm cool.
So you don't. You
I
can
gotta
just
read
click
it.
on it. Just give it the view.
Okay.
Just give it the view.
All right. You hook me up all the time with views.
Yeah,
so.
thank you. You're welcome. No, everyone, check out my article. It's gonna come out on another outlet, redworldreview.org. I think that's gonna be the better copy to read. Hopefully, it's out now when you guys are watching this tomorrow. It's also out on peoplesworld.org and on our Substack and on our Patreon. So Training Now Network .substack.com and then obviously patreon.com/training network. All those links are down below in the description. If you want to go read that article about what's happening in West Africa with Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, and France. Some very interesting stuff there. But digressing, yes, Gary, you can wait if you want. Whenever I see it come out on that end, you can read it there. It's also out on Patreon and Substack for free. So you can read it there too for free. And the version there is the version that's going to be the definitive version on Red World Review. Digressing, everyone check out beautyboxing.com and texasboxingscene.com as well. Sinessa Estrada picked up a fun win on Friday. We haven't talked about that. I want to talk about it just briefly because it was a fun fight against Leonela Utica. Really, really good fight. Utica was so much bigger than Estrada, coming down from 112. I think this was the lowest she's ever weighed for a fight, if I remember correctly. And Estrada really struggled, I think, with that size, but it presented a fun fight for us.
And she's a pressure fighter like Sinisa. So we got to see what we love to see in Mexican fighters, which is constant pressure on both sides. But Sinisa obviously I thought she pulled the win quite gracefully. Great fight for her, good experience, and especially she's always moving up and down all over the place. It's good for her.
I want to mention the undercard, and Gary, you can give your thoughts. Andres Cortez defeated Xavier Martinez. Abraham Nova defeated Jonathan Ramos in a really good KO as well in terms of like good KOs from the last week. Rohan Blanco defeated Cesar Francis. Carlos Balderas, our boy, our guy.
Balderas.
He lost.
I like Balderas. Did he lose?
Terrible.
I don't even remember. Did he lose?
Yeah, he lost. It was a good fight.
It was a good
close.
fight. It was close.
Against Nahir Albright. And then the other fights on the card, I don't remember them.
The best was Nova because of the mascot. Nova. Did you see the mascot?
I love Abraham Nova. He's a good fighter.
That was so adorable. Supernova. Oh my gosh. I want everyone to have a mascot. That's so cute. Imagine a big head of Sergio Mora.
Stop. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Be freaking cute, guys.
He really has a big head. Let's not do that, man.
Just saying, it'll be cute.
Gary, any thoughts on the Serrano? Not Serrano. We're gonna get to that in a second. But the Estrada fight.
Yeah. It's good, and she closed out like a champion. But like I would say, I think she might be pound for pound the best women's fighter in the world. She's not. Like she's number 2, I think. Right? Like we got a pound for pound performance from Crawford. We got a pound for pound performance from Inoue. We got a pound for pound performance from the Guo. That's a really good performance, but that's not a best in the world performance, right? She closed it out. I thought she won the last three rounds. I had her down 4-3, meaning you better win the last 3 rounds. She did. I had her winning 6-4, but it's good. Like it's an A- performance, but not an A++ performance that you would say that's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. So I'll keep her at number 2 for now.
You know what's going to be weird, I think, for a lot of us is that I think very soon, and I think this is going to be a hot take here for you two especially. 'Cause I know you both.
I already know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Go ahead. Go.
What am I going to say?
Go ahead. No. Go.
I think we're going to have to come to it.
Come to Jesus moment about
about
her fighting. I know
about Chantel Cameron probably being a better pound for pound fighter than Estrada very soon. Very soon. I think Estrada is really talented. But
I don't think East LA. Don't even listen. Shut up. What are you talking about?
I think Estrada has sort of maximized where she's at, and I don't see how she can then become round number one. Like, I don't see how she creates further legacy like that. I think her legacy is now plateaued in a way. Her career is now plateaued. She's not great. She's still pound for pound 5 in the top 5 somewhere. But Chantel Cameron, I think, is on this surge, this meteoric rise in the UK, defeating Amy Taylor. She's about to defeat her again. The fight's going to be announced.
She didn't defeat her yet. I mean,
she will defeat her again. We know that.
She did,
and she beat her up pretty good in the first fight. So
let everybody
we're going to be talking about Shields and Chantel Cameron, I think, at some point as the top 2. And that's going to suck for all of us U.S. fans. But it is what it is. It happens. Rob's somewhere giggling to himself watching this tomorrow. I guarantee it.
Happy as a little clam.
So he fucking said the UK fighter. I bet Gary's so mad. Gary, thoughts on my hot take? Anything or you want to move on?
It's not that hot of a take. Like it's fine. Like it's I'm sure people have that. I'm keeping Estrada at 2 for now. Cameron's at 3. And Katie Taylor's not really on my list because she's the most overrated fighter of all time. But I never really. She's got like 4 losses unofficially. Can we just keep it a buck? 4.
Gary.
She's lost 4 times.
Yeah. Soon.
Yeah, she has.
Toronto,
and they're all good fighters, right? And they're all good fighters. But it's like De La Hoya. It's like, okay, when you fight the best, you lose. Like,
Gary, did you watch the doc?
Did I watch the what?
The Golden Boy.
Oh,
we're gonna get to it.
Tickles my feet.
We're gonna get to it. Okay.
I love it.
It's the worst thing I ever saw. I only watched part of the second one.
Quickly, let's run the rest of the topics, and then we want to shit talk Oscar there. This weekend, not a ton of fights, but there are some fights.
Fight week for
Nate Diaz, Jake Paul pay-per-view on DAZN. It is what it is. Amanda Serrano versus Heather Hardy. It's a serviceable fight, I guess. Heather Hardy, I think, is way past her prime, so I really don't see this as a big fight like it used to be 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Ashton Silvercard versus
that guy's good. He's from y'all's neck of the wood. That guy, Ashton, he's good. He's
got
good.
a lot of money.
Who else? Chris Avila, I know is a boy of Nate Diaz. That's about it. No one of note. Yeah, not a ton of names there. Also on Showtime this weekend, Jordan White versus Edson Garcia. I have no idea who these people are.
Edson Garcia is good. He trains in Houston. He's from the DR. He's good. I don't know that he's going to win. Like, this is a big step up for him, but that guy's good. I've seen him in a local show in San Antonio. He's good.
It's on Friday, Showbox card. Just letting everyone know. Also on Friday on DAZN, there's a card in Atlanta, Georgia. Elijah Pierce versus Mike Plania.
Mike Plania lost to everyone. Like, he lost to Josh Greer. I think he's lost to Maloney. Like, you know him because he loses to upcoming. Wait, did he beat Josh Greer? Let me look that up. He might have beat Josh Greer.
Oh my God, we were just talking about him. Greer.
That was my guy. He was the next great in my.
Love that boy. Loved him.
And then as Gary's looking up those, whatever he's looking up, Josh Greer and Plania.
No, he lost the majority decision to Josh Greer. No, wait, no, he beat Josh Greer. Yeah, he beat Josh Greer. This is in 2020. This is in the bubble. And then he lost to Aleem, Race Aleem. He lost to Ricardo Nunez. Like, he's lost to a lot of guys. Mark Anthony Geraldo, like, he's lost to a lot of guys.
Some brief news topics, and we're gonna head out of here. WBC obviously approved Devin Haney versus Prograis, going to be champion in recess. So I think he can keep his belts and shit. Prograis though hasn't really agreed to the fight yet, as of us recording this show. I don't know what really is the holdup for it. doesn't make sense to me. Just make the fight, get it over with, please.
Especially after you talk shit like on Twitter.
I
Well,
don't get it.
nothing's according to Prograve's team. It's gonna happen. They're gonna make the fight. Like there's not really a doubt in their minds. It's like it's not like just date and location. It's like money too. Like we have an agreement. Yeah, it's not just like Josh. Not Josh. Bam and Sonny is done. It's signed. They just need to pick a location and a date. This is not like that.
It's not totally agreed upon.
Is his jaw even healed? Why would you sign something with your jaw?
It's Sonny Edwards.
I have doubted that little piece of shit.
No. I talked to Bam when I was in San Antonio. His jaw's fine. Like he's good. He hasn't started sparring yet, but he's good.
He hasn't started sparring yet. Well, they did the fight in December.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, yeah.
But anyways, Prograde, just take the short money because you're.
Yeah, let it go. Come on.
Haney's a bigger star than you. That's just the reality. Not much bigger star, but he is a bigger star than you. Also, like I mentioned earlier, Chantel Cameron, Kate Taylor rematch, November 25th in Dublin.
Nice.
Shout out to Chantel Cameron. Harper Breakus rescheduled October 7th for the Wood Warrington card. That's gonna be a good little double carder. Cool. I like that. I like that.
Cool Sheffield card.
And let's talk about our boy, man. Let's talk about it as we wrap up the show. Oscar De La Hoya had a 2-part documentary come out from HBO, and it was something. You know,
it was something.
It was technically a piece of film, I guess. It was a documentary in the definitional sense. I don't think we learned anything that new or
just him admitting to all the lies and that he continuously lies to the media about his life. Like, I mean, how are we gonna believe anything from here on out?
The only thing I really knew about or now know about more is how much of a, for lack of a better term, deadbeat dad he is.
Oh, that's a terrible thing.
I don't get how this was a smart idea. I mean, his company is very much struggling here. I heard a rumor that alleged rumor that he recorded this while he was recovering from his plastic surgery to get fake abs. So it's just it's very odd to me that he would do this 2-part series where he talks contradictory terms about his family and what level of abuse he had, and then give multiple stories about the pictures, the famous fishnet pictures and the high heels and the wig and stuff. And then about his kids that he doesn't care about or like parent at all. It was weird. It was very odd. And
it was like, I'm not going to take accountability for anything because here are all the excuses that I can give you on not being a father. Like, you don't have to be rich to be a good dad. You don't have to have good parents to be a dad. Your parents can beat your ass like all Mexican parents do, and you can still be a good parent. That's not that fucking hard, Oscar.
And
like
the whole line about his mother's mother on her deathbed saying that, go win the gold in the Olympics for me. That's not true. I just don't understand in terms of like a business owner who, I don't like business owners, so I don't know I'm defending Oscar here. I'm not really defending him. I'm saying, like, if I was a PR person, I would not have done this at all. There's no need for an Oscar De La Hoya documentary. You sign away your rights or you have your estate do that. Your kids get some money when you're gone, and then you don't have to see the documentary. That's the way to do it. That's the easy thing to do. Your kids get some money after you die. Right. And then you don't have to watch all the bad shit you did,
right? And
it hurt your own businesses. It's just wild to me.
No. Holly said she did like a little like Q&A on her Instagram, and Holly Saunders, his girlfriend, model, exposed sports. I don't know, founder or whatever the fuck that is.
Just lingerie sports.
Somebody asked like, so basically like, what'd you learn from it? She's like, basically that Oscar lied to the media like his whole life basically, and she's like, at least he's telling the truth now. He has the balls to. We should give him props. I'm like, delusional.
You got paid by HBO to do this. Like it was a check for him.
And then they're trying to say like it's one of the biggest documentaries on HBO. Like, okay, if it is, then you should literally shut up, give your kids some money, and never speak on this again. Go away.
I think the only reason he did this is because his business is failing. Like
He
Golden Boy
needs-
is struggling. He thought like I just need publicity right now, and this is gonna get me publicity.
And his whole life, literally, it says that bad publicity works.
It was a very
That's
depressing
what
documentary.
the documentary says. Bad publicity works.
And it's not even like a good depressing documentary like The Bridge, which if anyone has never seen The Bridge, watch it. It's about the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge and people committing suicide off of it. It's a very heartbreaking documentary, but it's very depressing. But it's a great documentary.
And gives you
This-
great insight on suicide awareness.
This is just a depressing documentary because it's cringy in a way that I didn't expect to be as cringy. And this really doesn't, I think, service anybody that like wants to see either the drama of Oscar's life because it doesn't do enough of that, or the career of his boxing career. It doesn't really cover that in depth at all. I will say this briefly before Gary jumps in because we've been talking a lot. I want to give Gary the floor here. The fact that he had a communist trainer, even though he was a Trotskyist, he was still a communist, I guess. And like that was like getting his life together. It was getting his game all put together. The fact that he wasn't religious and Oscar's dad made him fire that trainer is sad. And that kind of shows that you should just have a communist in your life, everyone. Just saying. It improves your life. Look at Gary and Melody. They have me in their life. And their lives are better because of it. Maybe. Gary, thoughts on the documentary? We've been talking.
I'm just gonna, because I know Melody doesn't want to be here all day, and I could go on and on about this documentary. I'm just gonna make it quick. I've seen good documentaries. I've seen bad documentaries. That's the worst piece of trash I've ever seen in my life.
No,
I couldn't even get through the second part of it. It was that bad. It's horrible.
Okay, I'll stay. Tell me.
Gary, I texted you and I was like, Gary, you gotta watch the documentary. So
Hey, why did you tell me I gotta watch this thing? I watched the first one, like, okay, this is awful. I got
One
20 minutes. Goodness, I'm like, this is terrible. This is awful.
I watched the
It's
first
depressing.
episode and I turned it off.
It was rough. It was rough. And shout out to that trainer. That was cool.
But it was done by like Mark Wahlberg. So like
Mark Wahlberg has no.
Yeah.
Let's not support that right now.
Don't support him at all. There's no shape or form
Hey,
that I support
with-
Mark
with-
Wahlberg
with-
his cheating ass.
with the drama in boxing Twitter right now, I'm not going to say what's happening. I'm just going to allude to it. I mean, Mark Wahlberg has also committed a hate crime, so like, it's okay, man. You
What did
can
Mark
always
Wahlberg
bounce
do?
back. What?
What?
What did Mark Wahlberg do?
What did
what-
Mark Wahlberg do?
He attacked, I want to say, some black kids, like when he was like, this is Mark
Yeah.
era.
This is years ago? Like,
Yeah,
when-
this is
Yeah,
80s.
80s, 90s. But I mean, there's a lot of other things that are being
But he
said
did
about
like
him.
he did like, oh yeah, there's some stuff. But anyways, you can always turn your life around. People on Box Twitter.
Through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Gary's about to say amen. I can feel it. He's about
Amen.
with that, we're gonna get out of here. Final thoughts. Terence Crawford, Jesus Christ,
Amazing.
man,
But-
hallelujah. You,
Short our boy.
I mean, honestly, that was a shocking performance in all the best ways. It's one of those fights that, like, this whole week, honestly, is one of those weeks like makes me fall in love with the sport in a way again.
Yeah.
Where like you're seeing people achieve greatness through adversity, and not only like on the fight, but like Crawford, like we're talking about, he had career adversity. He's sort of been, for whatever reason, kept out of these big moments. He finally got a big moment, and look what happened. Now his name is etched in history along truly greats, all-time greats.
Yes.
Now Nue, same thing. I mean, his name is now etched in all-time great. Talking about him with Roman Gonzalez. Roman Gonzalez is going to be a Hall of Famer that we talk about forever. And now Nue is too. So it's really good to see this time in boxing history. I'm Matthew Hunter. Follow me, Matt Hunter, MC, all social media platforms. Links down below in the description. Like I said earlier in the show, have a new article out about all the coups happening in West Africa and what they mean. You can check it out on peoplesworld.org and redworldreview.org or our Patreon, patreon.com/Trinity Network, which you can watch the shows live. So if you don't want to watch the day after, you can watch them live on Patreon. Without further ado, let me get to my co-host. Melody, final thoughts.
So I think we all need to sincerely in the boxing world apologize to Terence Bud Crawford, since we did not believe in him nor have the guts to stick up for him.
Gary did.
Whew. In time of need against Spence, our good old Texan, who we had so much hope in.
Dude,
But
Gary
it's
went-
okay. I'm gonna butterfly watch a couple more days to get over this. I salute you, Terence Crawford. And I guess I'm pumped for Nate Diaz, Jake Paul, fight week, go to zone.
Go to videoboxing.com. Get out. We didn't mention this before I go to Gary. Gary had to pick against Texas for this fight.
Bro.
And
he did.
And he did, and he was right. I mean, you got lucky there, bro. Because you couldn't go back to Spence's gym if you got this one wrong. Anyways,
Yeah.
Gary, final thoughts, man. The floor is yours.
Derek James loves me. He'll always let me back in. And he doesn't watch any media or anything, so he would have no idea.
And
who
he
I
doesn't
think.
watch our fucking shit.
He doesn't watch any media. I remember talking to him once, and he's like, I don't really watch boxing that doesn't impact my fighters. And I said, you don't? He's like, what? I spend all day here. You think I'm going to go home and watch boxing? I'm like, yeah. He's like, no. And Spence, I consider more a Mac guy. Spence has got a little Hollywood. We were at a local show once, and Derek James goes to every local show in Dallas, right? Like, he's always there. He was at a smoker, like an amateur smoker in Fort Worth, just because, like, he loves boxing. And I mean, Hooker's there. Hooker's being, Dallas, representing Dallas. And Spence is wearing leather pants. I'm like, bro.
They're there.
Yo, you're from Duncan. No, he's from DeSoto. You're from DeSoto, bro. You're wearing leather pants? You're going to go back to DeSoto wearing leather pants, my man. Come on. Like, he looked a little Hollywood for me.
Did you say hookers were at the party or
No,
Maurice Hooker?
no,
was at the
I should have been specific. Maurice Mighty Mo Hooker was there. And,
Just
that's
making sure,
my guy. I
Charlie.
love Hooker. He's one of my favorite guys in the
I
boxing
know
world.
you do love
And I like Spence, but he's got a little Hollywood. He's got a little Hollywood with his fame. That's all I'm
hookers.
saying.
Love hookers. Love hookers.
Shout out to all hookers out there. Maurice, the rest of them,
Love ya.
love you. Sorry we cut off Gary. That was so bad. Sorry, that was good funny.
Maurice Hooker.
I'm sorry.
Texas boxing scene, check it out, right, Gary?
Yes.
Well, Gary, come on, you gotta get your
Give
call
us an
sign.
outro.
Oh,
Give us
yeah,
an outro.
It's August 2nd, 2023, and Texas is still not a country. Let's make Texas a country again.
3,000.
From Texas to the world, thank you, and God bless.
And remember, fuck the police and free Palestine. Peace.